school, I think like 12 or 11. We was talking right, but he like.
The fallout from Gervonta Tank Davis's controversial majority draw against Lamont Roach Jr. continues to grow, with the situation becoming messier by the day. What initially seemed like a competitive bout has now turned into one of the biggest talking points in boxing, with accusations of favoritism, corruption, and behind-the-scenes influence dominating the conversation. Fans, analysts, and even former fighters are questioning whether Davis was unfairly protected, with one particular moment in the fight standing out as the focal point of the controversy. During the 9th round, Roach landed a powerful and precise shot that visibly staggered Davis, forcing him to drop to a knee. In any other fight, such an incident would have been immediately ruled a knockdown, as the rules clearly state that if a fighter's knee touches the canvas after a clean strike, the referee must administer a count. However, what transpired in that moment left the boxing world stunned. Referee Steve Willis, known for his expressive demeanor in the ring, initially appeared to react as though he was about to begin the standard 10 count. For a brief second, he hesitated, and then, to the shock of everyone watching, he abruptly stopped himself, waving the moment off as if nothing had happened. The confusion inside the arena was instantaneous. Fans erupted in disbelief.
What you talking about? Like, man, gonna give it to you.
Commentators struggled to process what they had just witnessed, and social media lit up with reactions from viewers who could not understand how a clear knockdown had been ignored. The slow-motion replays only reinforced the outrage, showing Davis taking a clean hit, visibly struggling, and then dropping to a knee before regaining his composure. The decision not to call the knockdown changed the entire trajectory of the fight. Instead of awarding Roach the points he had rightfully earned, the referee's decision allowed Davis to maintain his position in a fight that was already much closer than most had anticipated. Roach, who had entered the bout as a massive underdog, had been fighting with impressive precision and discipline, avoiding Davis's signature power shots while landing effective counters of his own. Many had expected him to be just another name on Davis's highlight reel, but instead, he proved to be a legitimate challenge, frustrating the champion by refusing to give him the openings he needed. By the later rounds, it was evident that Davis was not in full control of the fight as he usually was. He struggled to find his rhythm, and the frustration on his face became more apparent as Roach continued to press forward with confidence. Had the 9th round knockdown been called correctly, it could have tipped the scales even further in Roach's favor, possibly leading to a different outcome on the scorecards. As the controversy over the fight intensified, allegations began to surface suggesting that Willis's questionable decision was not just an error in judgment, but something far more deliberate. Rumors spread that the referee had been offered a $2 million bribe to protect Davis from losing his title.
Whilst punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown. I've heard some people saying, "Oh, that he should be disqualified. He went back to the corner." I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning, but it's a bit of a bizarre situation.
Initially, these claims seemed like nothing more than angry speculation from fans unwilling to accept the result. However, when boxing insiders began hinting at similar suspicions, the conversation took a more serious turn. Some reports suggested that individuals close to Davis's camp had been in contact with Willis before the fight, raising questions about whether the referee had been influenced before stepping into the ring. More concerning were the claims that Davis himself had expressed extreme confidence leading up to the fight, allegedly telling Roach that no matter what happened inside the ring, he would not be awarded the victory. This statement, combined with the referee's highly unusual hesitation in the 9th round, led many to believe that something was not right. If the bribery allegations were to be proven true, it would mark one of the most blatant examples of corruption in modern boxing history. As the backlash continued to grow, the World Boxing Association attempted to step in and shut down the controversy. In a move that only fueled the fire, the WBA published an article on its official website defending Willis's decision and insisting that no knockdown should have been recorded. The article claimed that the referee's judgment was both reasonable and justifiable, arguing that Davis had not gone down as a direct result of the punch. However, rather than quelling the outrage, This response had the opposite effect. Fans and boxing analysts immediately criticized the WHBHA for what appeared to be a coordinated effort to protect Davis and downplay the controversy. Former fighters openly condemned the statement, pointing out that the replays clearly showed a legitimate knockdown that should not have been ignored. Many viewed the WBA's swift defense of Willis as an attempt to control the narrative before the scandal grew any larger, but their efforts only further damaged their credibility. Within hours, social media was flooded with criticism, with boxing fans across the world dissecting every aspect of the fight and questioning the integrity of the sport. The consequences of this controversy extend beyond just Davis and Roach. This fight has reignited a long-standing debate about the influence of politics and money in professional boxing. Fighters and fans alike have long suspected that certain boxers receive favorable treatment, and the events of this match have only added more fuel to that argument. If a rising star like Roach can land a clean knockdown on one of the sport's biggest names, only to have it completely disregarded, what does that say about the fairness of boxing as a whole?
You're taking the point out. That's the bottom line. You're taking the point out. I don't know what happened.
Many are calling for a deeper investigation into the fight, with demands for transparency regarding referee decisions and potential conflicts of interest. Others are going as far as to suggest that the entire sport needs reform, arguing that until boxing addresses these issues, the credibility of major fights will continue to be questioned. For Davis, this controversy places him in a difficult position. While he retains his belt and remains undefeated, his performance in this fight has cast doubt on his dominance. Instead of celebrating another victory, he now faces scrutiny from fans who believe he was handed an unfair advantage. For Roach, the outcome is bittersweet. While he did not walk away with the win, he earned the respect of many for his impressive performance and resilience. However, the lingering frustration over what could have been will likely stay with him and his supporters for a long time. The backlash forced WBA President Gilbert Mendoza to remove the article defending referee Steve Willis and issue a public apology. However, rather than putting the matter to rest, Mendoza's statement only fueled more suspicion. In a direct message to Roach on X, he wrote, "Champ, as president of the WBA, I must apologize for the opinion of a collaborator of the website. We believed in you since day one. We knew you would have a marvelous performance and feel proud of you as champion."
The fight was because you would make more money as a champion, but it's no way it's a draw. And they didn't call it a knockdown. If they called a knockdown, you lost that.
That message raised immediate red flags. If the article was simply the opinion of a website contributor, why was it published on the WHBHA's official platform? And why was the WHBHA so quick to defend Willis's decision in the first place? The attempt to shift blame to an unnamed collaborator felt like a weak excuse, and many saw it as an attempt at damage control rather than a genuine apology. Mendoza also reached out to Roach's father, who serves as his manager and trainer, with a similar message, but by that point, the damage was done. The whole situation appeared to be a failed cover-up, one where the WBA got caught trying to protect Davis, and when the backlash became overwhelming, they scrambled to distance themselves from their own statements. As the controversy continued to escalate, all eyes turned to Davis himself, with bribery allegations swirling and questions about his legitimacy as a champion being raised. Fans and analysts wanted to hear his response. When Tank finally addressed the situation, his statement did little to put the rumors to rest. Rather than directly denying the allegations, he dismissed his critics, saying, "I don't know anything about that, but look, they've been hating on me since day one. Yallel acting like I ain't never had to fight for my respect. They just mad 'cause I ain't lose my belt." His defensive response only fueled more skepticism, especially since he didn't outright deny any wrongdoing. Davis did, however, say he was open to a rematch with Roach. "If they want a rematch, we can run it back."
Yeah, I think so. I feel like people just don't like to take to a point where any little things, because he ain't knocking him out, he probably feel as though that he lost, and he didn't, or it was a draw.
"I ain't ducking nobody," he claimed. But despite that statement, no official rematch has been announced, leading many to believe that Davis's camp is hesitant because they know Roach is a real threat. If Davis was so willing to prove himself again, why hasn't the fight already been scheduled? Meanwhile, the New York State Athletic Commission, NYSHSHASC, has been dragged into the controversy for failing to us instant replay on the night of the fight. According to their official explanation, technical issues prevented them from reviewing key moments, including the 9th round knockdown that was never called. But that excuse has only made fans even more suspicious. How does a crucial system suddenly fail at the exact moment when it could have changed the outcome of a major title fight? The timing of this so-called technical issue has raised serious questions about whether the fight's result was influenced by external forces. Some fans are now demanding a full investigation, and rumors have begun circulating that Roach's team is considering taking legal action to challenge the official result. If that happens, this scandal could become even bigger, potentially forcing a re-evaluation of the fight's outcome. With public pressure mounting, the calls for a rematch are getting louder. Even Mendoza has admitted that the WBA is now considering pushing for a second fight. I have asked the WBA committee to follow up on Lamont Roach Jr.'s direct rematch case closely, he stated.
I thought I should have won without that being counted a knockdown. Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had to wipe.
However, we believe the parties, as expressed in the post-fight interview, will amicably agree to run it again. But not everyone is convinced that the WBA will handle things fairly this time around. The organization has already shown a clear bias in favor of Davis, and many believe they will do whatever it takes to protect their champion. Even if a rematch is made, what's stopping the same questionable decisions from happening again? The controversy has become so widespread that even boxing's biggest stars are weighing in. Canelo Alvarez, who is set to return to the ring in May against William Skull, took time out of his own fight preparations to address what he saw in the Davis-Roach bout. In an interview on Hot 97's Ebro in the Morning, the Mexican superstar didn't hold back when discussing the 9th round moment that should have changed the fight. He pointed out that Davis taking a knee after being hit cleanly should have resulted in a 10-8 round for Roach, and, more importantly, that the interference from Davis's corner should have led to an automatic disqualification. He take a knee, he needs to lose like 10-8 that round at least, Canelo stated. And plus, the corner go up and they put a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but you know, it's not my business. Though Canelo kept his comments brief, his words carried serious weight. This wasn't just any fighter speaking. It was one of the biggest names in the sport, a 4-division world champion, and one of the most respected figures in boxing, making it clear that the rules were blatantly ignored in favor of Davis. His statement only added to the growing pressure for something to be done.
If you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic. But it is what it is. I wasn't relying on that. I was relying on what.
The NYSAC has since confirmed that they are still reviewing the situation, and their findings could have major consequences for the lightweight division. Veteran boxing journalist Dan Raphael also weighed in on the matter, making it clear that, in his view, there was no question about who deserved to win. Speaking on ProBox TV, he stated, "If they do one thing, Lamont Roach wins the fight." The fallout from the Davis vs. Roach fight continues to shake the boxing world, with growing calls for an official review of the controversial result. Many believe that referee Steve Willis's questionable officiating cost Lamont Roach a championship and robbed him of handing Davis his first professional loss. From the moment the fight ended, scrutiny has been mounting over multiple incidents that seem to favor Davis, including a missed knockdown call and interference from his corner mid-round. Regulators across the country are now paying close attention as NYSHSHASC Chairman Matthew Delalio faces immense pressure to make a decision that could change the course of Davis's career. The issue isn't simple. If Delalio rules in favor of Roach, Davis could lose his WBA lightweight title and suffer his first official defeat. However, some argue that overturning the fight outside the ring wouldn't be fair without giving Davis a chance to respond in a rematch. One of the biggest points of contention is that not only did referee Willis fail to call a knockdown, but he also allowed Davis's team to intervene, giving him valuable recovery time that Roach never got. Had the fight been officiated properly, Roach would have held a huge advantage heading into the later rounds, potentially changing the outcome entirely. Former referee Jack Rice weighed in on the situation during an appearance on ProBox TV, emphasizing that while referees do have discretion, fighters are not allowed to call their own timeouts. Paulie Malignaggi, a former world champion, also criticized the double standard at play. Adding to the growing frustration, it was later revealed that an instant replay review was available on Fight Night but was never used.
It was a close fight.
Lamont, bro. I knew Lamont was going to fight. That's out for your lifetime. You did a good job. You fought a great fight.
What about with St. Davis? I mean, I was expecting to talk him out.
Every night in boxing is not your best. You know?
This crucial detail has fueled speculation that Davis may have received favorable treatment, leading to an official appeal by ProBox TV founder and Roach's advisor, Gary Jonas, demanding that Roach be declared the rightful winner. Trainer Stephen "Breadman" Edwards expressed the concerns of many in the boxing community, pointing out that while human errors happen, they always seem to benefit the A-side fighter. Many are now asking the hard question: if Roach had been the one to take a knee, walk to his corner, and receive an unofficial timeout, would the referee have ignored it? The overwhelming belief is that he wouldn't have. The solution being pushed by many is an immediate rematch at the Barclays Center, where the controversy first unfolded. However, for some, that isn't enough. There are increasing demands for disciplinary action against referee Steve Willis, a formal review by the New York Commission, and even for Davis to be stripped of his title altogether. Ryan Garcia, one of Davis's biggest rivals, has also entered the conversation. Despite his own history with Davis, this time he is siding with Roach. He argued that if the fight result would have been different had the rules been enforced properly, then Roach should be given the victory. Garcia's comments also took aim at what he sees as boxing's double standards, referencing his own suspension for a banned substance after his fight with Devin Haney. He pointed out that if the sport truly values fairness and integrity, then the same strict rules should apply to Davis. This controversy is no longer just about one fight, it's about the integrity of boxing as a whole. If a referee can blatantly ignore a knockdown, allow a corner to interfere mid-round, and still let the A-side fighter walk away with the belt, what does that say about the sport? The New York State Athletic Commission is expected to make a ruling soon, and the consequences could be massive. If they uphold the original decision, fans will likely lose even more trust in the system. If they overturn it, Davis's reputation will take a serious hit, and the lightweight division could be thrown into chaos. With major names like Canelo Alvarez, Ryan Garcia, and Teofimo Lopez now speaking out, the pressure is only intensifying. The lightweight division is already filled with tension between Davis, Shocker Stevenson, and Vasily Lomachenko, and this controversy might be the spark that leads to a major shakeup. While this situation unfolds, another debate is heating up. What would happen if Davis and Stevenson finally faced off? Both fighters hold pieces of the lightweight world title, and fans have been demanding this matchup for years. But with Davis now dealing with an investigation that could change the result of his fight against Roach, his future is uncertain. If the commission overturns the decision, Davis might be forced into a rematch or even stripped of his title, which would throw a wrench into any plans for a fight with Stevenson. On top of that, whispers of corruption, possible bribery, and Steve Willis's suspicious officiating in the 9th round have cast a shadow over Davis's dominance. Many are starting to wonder if he's truly unbeatable or if he's just been protected. On the other side, Stevenson's recent performance hasn't helped his case either. He secured a 9th round stoppage over late replacement Josh Paley after Floyd Schofield withdrew due to illness, but many expected a more dominant showing. Critics have questioned whether he has the power to keep someone like Davis off him. With both fighters coming off controversial performances, the debate over who would win between them is more divided than ever. Teofimo Lopez recently shared his thoughts on the highly debated matchup between Gervonta Davis and Shocker Stevenson, making it clear that despite Davis's controversial performance against Lamont Roach, he still believes Tank would come out victorious. Lopez stated, "I still think Gervonta will win against Shocker. Technically, I just think like that." His confidence in Davis isn't surprising, given his history of back and forth exchanges with Stevenson. Lopez has never shied away from questioning Stevenson's ability to handle high-pressure fights, but as a former unified lightweight champion and the current WBO super lightweight champion, his opinion carries serious weight. Lopez isn't the only one making predictions. Veteran trainer Robert Garcia took a different stance, pointing out that while Davis's power is a major threat, Stevenson's defensive skills and ring IHQ could give him the edge, according to Garcia. If Stevenson stays disciplined and avoids Davis's knockout shots, he has the ability to outbox him over 12 rounds. However, that's easier said than done. The biggest question is whether Stevenson can fight a near-perfect bout without getting caught. That's what makes this potential matchup so compelling. Both fighters bring something dangerous to the table. Stevenson's elite defense and movement allow him to neutralize opponents, but Davis possesses the kind of fight-ending power that only takes one clean shot to change everything. If Stevenson manages to stay out of danger, can Davis adapt and find a way to win? If Davis lands one of his signature power shots, can Stevenson recover? The uncertainty surrounding these possibilities has fans eager to see them settle it in the ring. For now, though, everything remains up in the air. Davis is still dealing with the fallout from his controversial draw against Roach, while Stevenson is in search of an opponent who can truly challenge him. The fight world is watching closely, waiting to see if this dream matchup becomes a reality. What do you think? Drop your predictions below and stay tuned for more updates.